Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers. We have return guest
Ava Robinson.
And we have fresh new guest
Garth Oates.
Garth Oates. Unfortunately, we do not have the second half of our team, Mr. William Leggetter. He is under the weather. No, it's not a go. But we do have a wonderful new guest. Garth, why don't you introduce today's film, seen as, you were brought on for no uncertain reason that this is your favourite film of all time.
So the film that we're going to be looking at today is possibly the most incredible experience you can ever have watching a film. If I was able to watch it at the cinema, I would have experienced it 100 times more. But watching it on a smaller screen, I've even watched it on a phone. It truly is spectacular, and it is, of course, Goodfellas.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
I know I'd go from rags to riches.
To me, being a gangster was better than being president of the United States.
Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
It meant being somebody in the neighborhood that was full of nobodies.
Oh, you rugged Jerry!
Hey, Mom, what do you think?
You look like a gangster.
By the time I grew up, there was $30 billion a year in cargo moving through Idlewild Airport, and believe me, we tried to steal every bit of it.
Yes, 1990, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring
Proper good.
Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. Good night, Ray Liotta. No, sorry, Good Night, Danny Trio.
Good night, Danny Trio.
Have you watched Muppets Most Wanted, Garth?
I haven't, no.
Good film. Good film.
Is it?
Not as good as Goodfellas.
Close, but like not quite.
Doesn't have any Muppets. Do you remember, Ava, the first time you saw Goodfellas?
You might know who we are, but we know who you are. You understand?
Yeah.
What kind of people are these?
What do you do?
I'm in construction. If we wanted something, we just took it, and you didn't even think about it. To us, it was better than Citibank.
Nice. It's great, but nice.
You got some nerve standing me up. Nobody does that to me. Who the hell do you think you are? Frankie Valli or some kind of big shot?
I was living in a fantasy.
Look at my eyes.
He's not Jewish.
For most of the guys, killings got to be accepted. Murder was the only way that everybody stayed in line.
What are we gonna do with him? We can't just dump him on the street.
Don't worry. I know a place up safe. They'll never find him.
You got out of line, you got whacked. Everybody knew the rules.
Hey, Henry.
I'm pretty sure I was 13, had it on DVD, and it was the first DVD that had two sides that you had to take it out and flip the disc over because the movie's so long. So I remember watching that, and I wasn't, how Tom and I have a running thing of a list of movies that we watched at far too young an age and to varying degrees traumatized us. This wasn't one of them.
I've never said they traumatized me. I think I've done pretty well.
I would say they traumatized you.
What have you said that's traumatized you? You have said something, just like mildly, not massively.
I don't know. The only horror movie I ever watched as a kid, where I had to have the lights on, was Psycho, and that was because I was 6 or 7 or something.
I remember I was told I was not allowed to watch Casino because of the when they put the guy's head in the thing. Yeah, and they said you're not allowed to watch it, so I watched it, and you know what? My sister was right. It really bothered me, and it still does, I think.
You turned away, didn't you, Ava? You went.
No,
we were watching it on a call, and she went, "They're gonna pop his eye. They're gonna pop his eye. Oh no!"
I can't I really can't stand Casino, and that's another thing that's probably going to come up in this call.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not.
Do you know Tom makes it equal to Goodfellas? He thinks they're equal, and Casino might.
We once in student halls had a very heated discussion over a few brandies. It just got so aggressive.
I do have to say
that you're wrong.
That I am wrong. No, I think.
Oh shit.
I think Goodfellas is a better film.
My heart.
Oh, very funny. Tom never admits it. It's me. Turn it to Cartman then. Right. No, I can admit Goodfellas is a better film. I think I enjoy Casino more.
How?
That's bewildering. How?
Because I think it's a better Pesci. I think it's more nuanced. I adore Sharon Stone and her performance in that film.
No, you just enjoy, like you say, you enjoy watching women have nervous breakdowns. You do.
It's not just women. It's all people. I just love mental breakdown movies. There's just something about the manic energy of a woman going crazy.
The pen scene's cool, and then the
pen scene's great.
Other than that, I'm bored.
Soundtrack is great. Robert De Niro's costumes are tidy.
Yeah. What about James Woods? What about James Woods as Lester the Pen? Do you not think that's really funny? When the kids you should do it, and he's like, shut up, you little bitch. Anyway. But we're not talking about Casino today.
Yeah, please not. I will not be on that call.
But I think Will has my back on Casino, but he's not here, so I'm getting gang bullied. Let's jump into opening gang bullied.
Oh.
It's a very specific term. Opening line Hall of Fame. The fuck is that? It's good. It's a good line. Let's jump into opening YouTube comments. Not opening YouTube comments, just YouTube comments. Opening came from that lifestyle, good for the moment, the money, the power, pretty ladies, until it comes to an end. It's true. I'll say this now. I've always had this idea for a TV channel. You know, like Sky Cinema and Sky Movies and all that.
Yeah.
They need to make a channel which is just the first hour and a half of Rise and Fall movies. Because that would be the most rewatched channel of all time. The first hour and a half of this, first 2 hours of Wolf of Wall Street, the first hour of Casino, Boogie Nights, all of these Rise and Fall movies, and then they all just suddenly fade to black before the cocaine comes out. And then it's just the best channel ever.
Have you ever done that in a film when you're watching it and you just go, nah, it ends there. Like, you know it's going to get bad. I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep, I'm like, and it finishes. I've done that actually in Wolf of Wall Street before.
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
my famous thing is that somebody said to me about Wolf of Wall Street, yeah, it was really good, but didn't you think that they could have had a better ending? I said, it's not a true story. What do you think was going to happen? That happened with Fern, didn't it, Garth?
I think so. It's, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's really rich again now. Like, the moral of that story originally was like, don't do that. And now it's like, well, I guess do that. And
you can have Leonardo DiCaprio play you in a movie. And yeah.
Yeah, maybe they should have continued. I would be happy with another hour of Wolf of Wall Street. People who say that's too long, I baffles me. That 3 hours flies by. Casino, I can get your point a bit. I don't think it's boring, but there are moments.
I think I can bring it back on topic for you, Tom. So you see in Wall Street, I think Leonardo DiCaprio's performance has got glimmers of the main guy in Goodfellas, as in the swagger he has. And I think Scorsese learnt things making that film, which gave him the tools to make a Wolf of Wall Street that was so impressive and incredible.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what did Casino teach anyone? Just fucking don't pens of weapons, you know? So
Casino, I don't. Right.
Stand up, sit down, and shut up. That's what.
Can we not do the thing of? We can admit, surely.
No.
No,
okay,
1 minute.
Whatever you've got to say, I disagree.
Goodfellas never existed.
Right.
That's the thing.
Do you not think that 25% of your annoyance about Casino is that you're like, if I'm going to watch Scorsese, Pesci, De Niro, written by Nicholas Pileggi about mobsters, I'd
It
just
should
rather
be
watching
Goodfellas. Oh yeah, because Goodfellas has all of like the character and the heart, and it's honestly to do with the setting, like, and that whole time period. Like, I know what year was Casino?
96.
Late 90s. Yeah, but like Vegas and the casinos. Like, I'm not saying gangsters aren't seedy and the life, you know, is different from each other, but like it's the heart, it's the Italians, like it's that way of life, and it's like I don't care. Like, I'm not invested when they're talking about casinos in Vegas. Like, I just don't care. It just feels like shallow.
You can't, because I think when you watch Goodfellas, it doesn't glamatize it to a point where you watch three guys come up and then people are dying and stuff. I never watch it and go, I want that life. But in Casino, I'm like, I'll run a fucking casino. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Other way.
You can see yourself in Goodfellas because you can be like, oh, I can see how I could get there because it comes from someone outside of the family.
And the food.
Oh, the cooking. The best my favorite scene. My favorite scene in all of cinema and probably all of theatre, all of storytelling is the scene when they're making the pasta in prison. And the best line is, go, how do you want your steak? And he's like, medium rare. And he goes, an aristocrat. Fuck it. That is the best line ever written on a piece of paper.
It's great stuff. Back to YouTube comments. The Dark Side of the American Dream. Is this the best film to emulate? The Dark Side of the American Dream. The Rise. I mean, we threw out a bunch of Rise and Fall movies. Is this the best of that type? The 2.5 hours spans 20 years. I think it's a genre in itself. Obviously, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson is not shy about saying that Boogie Nights is just Goodfellas with porn in the porn industry. He's not shy about that. He admits it wholeheartedly. Is this the best Rise and Fall movie?
I don't know, man. I've never seen it as a Rise. Weirdly, I've never looked at it in that way, just because you see the Rise, then you see him going all scatty. I mean, that's such a horrible depiction. You know, he's got to do all that stuff in a day. I always feel anxious. You know, when you have something to do all day, and there's a helicopter. But then his fall, he ends up in witness protection. Yeah. So I just feel like the fall's not quite hard enough, you know.
And also, like, I mean, the movies you listed, like, they were all pretty much like some level of, you know, gangster or illegal. That's part of the story. So if you're looking at it like from an American Dream angle, like, it is the dark side, but also like because they go about acquiring, you know, the success in the American Dream in like the back route way. So there's probably like a whole nother section of films that, you know, people go through it like the honorable way. But then also that's such another good parallel between Henry Hill and Jordan Belfort, because they both, and in both of Leonardo's and, oh my God, I keep wanting to say Al Pacino, and because I just watched The Irishman, Ray Liotta, their performance, you know, they do it so well, how they're just kind of like, they're not humble, but, you know, they're just kind of like inexperienced, and there's that level of innocence about them, and then just slowly they're exposed to these, you know, titans, and then they get sucked in.
It's great stuff. Construction, bodies laying under the pavement, wink. Somebody's real funny. Somebody's trying to be a real funny guy.
What do you want, fucko? You want some? Huh?
Oh, hey! Hey. What are you doing? I swear my fucking mother, if you touch her again, you're dead!
Don't shoot!
Your high piece. Are you all right? Are you all right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
When it rains, it pours, little homie.
I'm a little bit confused to what's happening right now.
These are YouTube comments. These are real YouTube comments.
Right.
The only I didn't like about the movie is the men's makeup. I saw this in HD, but it's also apparent in the trailer that the foundation put on the guys was too excessive and distracting. It was gross. But overall, the movie was pretty great. I completely disagree. I think the aging in this movie is stellar.
The aging
so
is pretty
beautifully
good.
subtle.
I prefer it much more to the aging in The Irishman, to be honest. That really fucking bothered me. That bothered me so much. I couldn't watch the film because it bothered me so much. But I think in Goodfellas...
Well, I remember when we watched it on call, me, Tom, and Sophia said, like, oh, because that was the first time she'd watched it, I'm pretty sure. And she said, oh, you know, as it went on, I can't work out whether Ray Liotta's good looking or not in this. Because, I mean, obviously they do a fantastic job of him making him look all, like, sweaty from the cocaine and everything. Yeah, but, like, earlier on, like, I get, and, you know, it's with all the close-ups, so I get what she means. There is something going on with the makeup, but it's not bad. Like, it's a good job, and it's doing what it's supposed to.
I feel like I think maybe the long shots, and I think it's why I like Scorsese films so much, but I feel like there's always an element of theatre to it. You know, there's always this well rehearsed actors busting out lines with long shots and stuff. So I think when I've noticed the makeup before, but I feel like I'm not watching a documentary.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with watching it. There's only one time I see it, but then I think you can push it. I always thought he just had a bit of bad skin, you know? I was like, dude does a lot of drugs. So,
yeah, and I think, like, just when we see Paulie again after prison, it's been, what, like 5 years or whatever, and he's just got that grey, and you can see how much he's aged.
When he's cooking the sausages. That's now I'm gonna
I think the only parts where it's obvious is when it's the narration, and, like, young Henry's, like, talking about Robert De Niro, is like, he must have been 27 or 29, and he was playing all this money. It's like, calm down. And then later on,
young Henry is so cute.
When he's on the date montage with Karen, and, and she's talking, and she's like, he was 24 and he had all this job. And I was like, oh, come on, just don't say it. I can turn off my mind enough. Just don't bring it up.
Yeah, it does make you go, oh, all right, yeah, sure. But it is here's a question. I'm taking over for a second. If you were going to have Goodfellas directed by another director, what director would you pick, and why would you pick him? If you had to do it. So essentially, Scorsese's being thrown out the mix. The cast stays the same, script stays the same, but Scorsese's gone.
Can I do like a paradox? Because Boogie Nights, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Magnolia, that cocaine energy, and is Goodfellas. However, you don't get Boogie Nights and Magnolia without Goodfellas. So are we saying that if we take Paul Thomas Anderson...
There will be a knock-on effect. Like, Scorsese may not make The Wolf of Wall Street that we know now.
Or Casino.
Or Casino. Well, okay then. So you got to swap it out. And you can choose a modern director from now, or you could choose a dead director before.
I'd go Paul Thomas Anderson. I honestly think...
I'm going to have to Google these people.
You know, have you seen Boogie Nights?
Oh, I actually haven't, though.
Great film. Have you seen Magnolia?
I've been told to watch it as well quite a lot.
Have you seen There Will Be Blood?
Oh, yeah, him.
Yeah, it's him, but in his earlier films, he had that manic, frantic, cutting energy instead of the...
Good storyteller, then. Like.
Oh, he's excellent, yeah.
It's quite a question, isn't it? I've been thinking about it.
I could say Spike Lee. Malcolm X sort of has that biographical, long-term storytelling through the ages. I mean, you know, the strength of that movie, people talk about Denzel, and Denzel is incredible. He does three different performances, crazy youth, you know, and then by the end is this, you know, peaceful Muslim going about his journey religiously. It's an astounding film. But if that Spike Lee energy would work, I think.
If it wouldn't be too close to The Godfather, what about Francis Ford Coppola?
I think it would be too close to The Godfather. I thought about this, but I was like, and I'm not the biggest fan of The Godfather. I appreciate it more than I like it, I think. I get it. I understand. I know it's a great film, but for some reason, like, it's like strawberry ice cream. Like, everyone likes it, but for some reason... That's what I mean. It's the greatest ice cream of all time. But
Vanilla's the best.
Oh,
you're such a vanilla, Tom.
You're such a vanilla.
No, I like rum and raisin.
Rum and raisin's my favourite.
What are you, an old fart? Like,
the amount of times,
the
the amount of times that people have started with an ice cream conversation, and then I say I like vanilla, and then it ends up with me having to describe how I'm not boring sexually, is the weirdest trajectory that has happened more than once.
There was no trajectory. It was the next step for me. I was just like,
yeah, there you go. It's like people are just like, oh, I like chocolate chip, and then 20 minutes later, yeah, no, sometimes we go a bit.
Right.
Anyway,
I tell you what, try and imagine this film. It's not my answer, but I would pay money to see this film, and that would be Wes Anderson directing it.
Oh my God!
You give the script to him, and he uses the actors, whether he's going to do animation or not. It's a film I would watch because I think.
Well, I'd watch all of these films. These are
that
excellent directors. I'd watch Wes Anderson's Basic Instinct.
My other one would be Guy Ritchie, though. I think that's who I'd pick because I would just be really interested. But I'd just be interested to. I feel like he would add pace to the film because there is a part in the film where I am like, hurry up a little. Wow. I don't know what bit it is, but every time I watch it, I'm like, come on, let's get to the next bit. It's only for about 5 minutes, and I do have a terrible attention span. It is a long film, but I feel like if I added Guy Ritchie in there, it would add this fucking.
See, The Gentleman.
Interesting question, right?
See, The Gentleman was one of the worst films I saw last year.
What film?
The Gentleman was.
Really, I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
It wasn't the best film, but I liked it. It was good.
Did you not feel it was like a 10-year-old who had been given a script? No, who had written a script and then got it made?
Not at all. I thought it was quite interesting. I like the he was modernizing his style. I think it wasn't his best film, but I watched it and was entertained by it. I think with Guy Ritchie though, I just love the dialogue in it and how they pronounce, like they say "fuck" really well. And
that's the thing. I thought it was like 10-year-olds who were like, "Oh, I get to say fuck. I get to say cunt. Oh, it's so exciting." Hugh Grant doing, and you know what? The bit that really annoyed me was halfway through when Hugh Grant, in this, in my opinion, shit film, dared to say, "Oh, it was like Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation. Good early 70s film, bit boring." It's like, how dare you? The Conversation is one of the better films ever made, and you are going to bring it down in this movie. Anyway, let's go to number 3. Let's go to best 10-minute stretch. Here are my nominations: The Wedding, Layla montage.
You love that montage.
Or Tommy's mum following Billy Bat's New Year.
That's what I had written.
Ava,
and
do you have any other nominations?
Yeah, Henry's paranoia the day when he's followed by the helicopter. That comes to like exactly 10 minutes.
Prison kitchen scene. There is no better.
No, I had that in. We've got that in single minute later.
Don't care. It wins every category, Tom.
I have in Tom's weirdly specific fave part of the film, I have the garlic slicing specifically.
That's very specific, yeah. So best 10-minute stretch, I think.
Onions in.
I think my wedding thing is just a personal thing that I have. I love weddings. That's probably why I love The Godfather so much.
Was one of them the montage when you meet like Tony 2 times or whatever his name is?
Oh my god, I love 2 times.
I've got that in single minute. I've got that in single minutes as well.
But that's a montage. Like they walk through it. That's a really long fucking. That's not a minute.
It's great.
So I'm gonna
get that thing for you.
But then that would also include How Am I Funny? So that would be a good 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's so good. Tell me, how am I funny? Oh,
I'll just talk about this now. I only have one change, and it's very specific. But this is my new category, which is what I'm going to call every cut films, where every time it cuts to the next scene, there's no disappointment. You're like, oh, this is incredible too.
Okay,
I think you get it with Shawshank, you get it with Silence of the Lambs, you get it with Cuckoo. I think you get it with, personally, I rewatched Terms of Endearment, and I know so that's more so than me than you. But every cut, you're like, oh, it's this scene. Oh, it's this scene. Even, and this is more so a film, I think, of moments than scenes, as you know, we're talking about, you know, like just that little bit where they're burning down the bamboo club and they're sat in the car, and, you know, Pesci's got the great hypocrisy of going, you know, she's prejudiced against Italians. This Jew is prejudiced against Italians. Just that great, you know, hypocritical turn on that line. But that's a moment. It's not necessarily an entire scene. And no, as I say, every cut is just wow.
There isn't a bit that I don't watch and I go, like, if I'm watching it with Fern or if I'm watching it with someone who hasn't seen it before, I'm like, oh, this is a good bit. Like, it seems to happen a lot. Like the dinner scene around the table and they're talking about, doesn't that look like someone we know? And they're like this and that.
Borrow this knife.
Yeah, one of the most sinister scenes is when Robert De Niro is talking to him at the end, and he says, I need you to go do a job for me, and you know he's going to get him whacked. And Robert De Niro's got he looks like a fucking accountant, a terrifying one, you know.
Big glasses.
Yeah. The only scene, I tell you what, one scene I don't like, and I've never liked it, is, you know, when she goes to see Robert De Niro and Robert De Niro gives her money, and then
I was just going to say, I love
around
it.
this corner, around this corner. I don't get it. I don't like it. Don't know why. Is she about to get killed?
Yeah, he's going to kill her.
Yeah, and
well, it's two things, isn't it?
Why wouldn't he just do it? Like, he wouldn't. He's a killer throughout the film. He's very good at it. Why wouldn't he walk her down there into the place to get her killed?
Because he's probably like that would probably he probably thought that would be too suspicious because she's smart, but then he probably underestimated.
Down a lonely road into a fucking place. He goes, go down there, go around the corner. That's not suspicious.
Yeah, well,
she realizes, doesn't she?
Yeah,
well, no, it's two things, isn't it?
I never understood it.
It's two things. Either he is going to kill her, or it's a perfect scene encapsulating that for Karen and Henry, for the rest of their lives,
paranoia
ruined by the paranoia.
I just think it's the only part of the film I feel sloppy.
Yeah.
And I love this film, but I watch it and I go, I just feel like a scene where he takes her into an office and she leaves suddenly shows more paranoia than walk down this alleyway you've never been asked to walk down, go left, and he keeps doing this, like this. And I'm like, he's a killer in the film. He's well known as a killer. I feel like he would have done it.
Yeah, but until, I think you could honestly make the case that up until that point, she never in her wildest dreams. That's the point that she realises Henry's not got any friends. Yeah, but I feel that he would be,
no, I'm not annoyed at her reaction. Her reaction makes sense. The way he goes about and does it, I don't think fits his character. Because if he wants her dead, well, in this film, you learn that if someone wants you dead, you're pretty much going to be dead. Right?
Yeah.
And he
but also, they're getting older.
What?
This is a different. Jimmy's trying to go legitimate. He's selling these.
So he wants someone murdered in his building.
He doesn't want somebody murdered in his building. He wants somebody murdered down the road, a little bit to the left.
That's the only bit. Whenever I watch it, and I've watched it with people, and they go, "What just happened?" And I was like, "I want her dead." Or she's scared, or maybe there are dresses. Maybe we think maybe he's not that bad of a guy.
Yeah. I like the ambiguity that we just barely see that shadow of a guy in that house, in that rundown shop.
See, when Anderson would have added a puppet there, and we would have seen a
we would have seen the big title card. The time that Karen nearly died. Tom's. Oh, well, it's not here. Tom's weirdly specific favourite parts of the film. Hey, a Baptist cherry! Just that little moment. The pan shot or reveal of older Ray Liotta. I think that's I don't know what it is. That's one of my favourite moments. I think it's done very well. The planes. What was it? I think we watched it at university. Well, no, we did a movie night. You were unavailable, Ava, or you were away or something. And Garth Garth refused to come to see it because he said, I'm not going to sit there and watch people talk over this film and comment on it.
I mean it though,
Damn
because
straight.
I remember going to some of those movie nights and they wouldn't watch it, and then suddenly be like, "That doesn't make sense," or "It does make sense." You have to watch the whole thing. I remember I watched Wall Street with Molly and Fern, and they talked through the first 2 hours, and then something happened. They went, "Whoa, that comes out of nowhere," and I literally was like, "This is the slow burn film I've ever."
I've not been to Benihana before.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why are they on a boat? Like, you know, you just...
Best part of the film. Okay, we're gonna go 2 days. That's a different episode. Yeah, the older Ray reveal. One of the best moments from that night when we watched it without you was, I think, 20 minutes after that, and I can't remember who, but they said, "Oh, are they the boy from before?" They just didn't realise. Because in a way, it doesn't come up Henry Hill 20 years later. You've got to sort of know Ray Liotta's... I mean, oh, no. I am...
The voiceover don't change. You don't go from a, "I was wanting to be a gangster," and then goes to
Ava, do you want to dare say that it's agree with Garth on that one? Do you want to reveal something that you only found out on the last rewatch?
Break my heart.
I didn't not find it out. I just only clicked that in the beginning with young Henry Hill, when Jimmy introduces him to Tommy, that's Tommy. That's Joe Pesci.
Literally looks like he was a baby.
He looks like he's doing a Pesci voice. He's going, "Hey, how you doing?
How we doing?"
They even got a little back in as if he just never changes body type.
And Jimmy says, "Hey, this is Tommy. I'd like you to be friends."
That's one of my favorite moments in the film.
It is good.
It's a good moment, but I was just always kind of like sailing through it.
The Karen dates leading into, "Oh, you think you're Frankie Valli?" When she comes to the cab stand.
That's quite good.
Oh, it is good because you fully understand their relationship in just one moment. He's like, "Hey, yeah, no, she was sexy. She was hell, you know. There's something about her eyes. She had these great eyes like Liz Taylor," and you fully understand their relationship. It's so beautifully acted, beautifully written, beautifully directed. The nose bust, where he busts the nose of the neighbour. Incredible. Yeah. I also like Karen in the car when the scene starts, as if she's taking like 10 pills or something. And she's like, "Yeah, it's over there. I'll be okay." With the sunglasses on. I love Maury's ad.
I have Murray's ad written.
Don't go for wings that fall
Even
off.
underwater.
Henry turn around. Oh, when he comes home later, early in the morning, and then Karen's mother starts shouting, and he just turns straight around, and then Tommy's giving him shit, and he's like, "Oh, what kind of man are you, Henry? Who are you?"
Why didn't you call? Where have you been? We were worried to death. A married man does not stay out like this. Mom! Normal people don't act like this! What's wrong with you? Henry,
Shut
you're
up.
not normal. She's right. What's wrong with you, Henry? What kind of person are you? What is the matter with you? What kind of people are they? Look at
I like that scene in one of my favorite. You know when they go kill Samuel Jackson? Shoot, but when he goes, put the coffee on, he goes, "Coffee," and he goes, "What do you want? What do you want to go?" He's like, "Don't actually make the fucking coffee." Like, I love that scene because I feel like I really related to that character. I feel like that'd be me. I'd walk in and be like, "Make a coffee," and I'd come back like, "Do you want one?"
What's happening? I love when Karen goes to Janice's apartment with the kids. She goes, "Hello, is this the superintendent? You've got a whore
living in 2R."
Oh, it's so good.
I love Henry's reaction in the shower. Just so happy. Maybe after Christmas is where my TV show cuts. Like just after Christmas.
Well, I've got like a moment that I love is like right after the Lufthansa heist, and then like when they're all in the bar and Jimmy's like that and Frosty's playing. Pretty great.
Gives him that money in the back.
Yeah.
I always feel sorry for the wig man.
Maury.
Oh,
Henry boy, the pipes are calling.
But like, yeah, you feel sorry for him, but because when we like in most movies that we watch, especially Tom and I, or if Sophia's involved too, we normally immediately cast them if there's any sort of like three. And like Tom, we say it was Henry Hill because he's the most likely to rat. Sophia,
It's just not true. Garth,
Garth, can't you see Tom?
No, not at all.
I don't think you have any loyalty when it comes to your own time.
That's not. No. My loyalty is so specific.
If you were in a box and they went, right, you can throw those people out that have been trying to kill you. I think you're too logical of a man to go, oh no, I'm going to do time for them. To be quite honest, if I was him, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah. No, I think because I always used to have when the school shooting thing was big, when we were kids, and I didn't understand that it wouldn't happen in England because we don't have guns. I was always like, no, if there was a school shooter, I would take my chances and I would rush him and I would save everybody. And if that meant getting shot, then that's fine. I would have.
I think it's really easy to think that, but I think if you're ever caught in a position,
I
don't know.
No, I think
I've never been in a position like that, but I just feel like I know how I want to act. I want to be like John Wick, you know.
No, I don't mean John Wick. I mean
react.
I mean like a guy comes in and he's like, one of you's gonna die.
Tom, I've had the same daydreams. I just don't know if you actually do that or not. You know, I feel like everyone does.
But I wouldn't rat. It's a bad.
In that film, I'm saying in the situation of that film, I think you would have done the same thing.
No,
because that's his only choice.
I wouldn't have done the cocaine. I wouldn't have done the cocaine, so I wouldn't have.
That's what I mean. You actually wouldn't have done any of it.
And I would have been faithful to my wife. We're going to get to that.
And he would have gone to school every morning and not gone and parked those cars. He would have been a good little boy.
No, I love that part. I would have done it all. I just would have been faithful to Karen.
You wouldn't have blown cars up. You wouldn't have got bad grades. You've never not written an essay. You know, like.
How could I have done good government bullshit? I love how he delivers the narration as if he's on a downer. He's like, how could I have done that? That's when I knew. Everything is so down, and it's great. And then the phone booth.
Yeah.
Actually, when he kicks the phone booth over, that annoys me. But up to that point, I really love it.
Yeah, maybe that's a step too far.
Because I've never kicked the American phone booth.
Is so perfect.
Yeah, I've never kicked the American phone booth, but I feel like they don't fall over that easy. Yeah, so it looked like set to me. And also, I don't think he was meant to do it because the camera's not looking at it. Wow. I feel like that was one of those method things where he just booted it.
He's psyched up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. I'm Marty. What if I smash this? What if I smash this telephone booth? It's time for Oscar travesty. Now.
Wait. Can I say some of my favorite parts of the film?
Sure.
They're weirdly specific.
Yeah.
So the first thing I wrote was when Henry pistol whips Bruce, what's his name, for Karen, and she's watching. Mm-hmm. Got Jimmy, the deep purple, the smoke on the water when Jimmy's at the bar. Oh my god,
it's not
slow mo.
No, it's not. It's not. It's Sunshine of Your Love by Cream.
Oh no, yeah. That. Oh my god. It's because they're both in the same level on Guitar Hero, Tom. That's why.
Now I understand.
For the wedding, for me, it's just the end when they're dancing and the end of Life is But a Dream. That, like, oh my god, it's beautiful. And then
the
like my favorite
when she's worried about
but not even the envelopes, because it's like, yeah, okay, but just that, like, that for me. Oh, that, and then Toyota looks and says it didn't matter, and then the whole final monologue out of the courtroom. It's pretty great.
I've got that in a single minute. Right, let's take.
You're using a website that is known for facts.
They've not lied about the Oscar nominations. They've not managed to. They've not managed to. They can't get. They've not lied about the Oscar nominations, Garth.
I'm just winding you up, man. I really have. It's just like you
get. Best Picture didn't go to Goodfellas. It went to Dances with Wolves. I like Dances.
Never heard of that.
Yeah. No, Dances with Wolves is good. It's not. It's not Goodfellas.
I'm glad Godfather Part 3 didn't win. That would have been upsetting.
No. Ghost. Why did that get nominated? Ghost is not a Best Picture nominated film. Surely.
It's quite an Oscar film, I think. It's kind of gushy in it.
Yeah. Yes. No. Obviously, Goodfellas is Best Picture there. Similarly, Martin Scorsese is the Best Director. This leads us on to the famous, I guess it's time we give him one. People always say that, that Departed was, because it was, obviously, he needs an Oscar. But also, when you look at 2006, it was the best film of the year. It was the best director of the year. It wasn't like, what do you call it? When Leo won for Revenant. And that wasn't necessarily the best performance of the year, but it was his time. That I don't think that was
a boring film.
That was very good.
That's one of the only films I've ever been in the cinema and I pulled my phone out and I've actually replied to text messages. I was
especially
I wasn't the only one either. Other people. When I saw about 4 people doing it, I was like, right, well, I'm joining them.
Especially following Birdman, is the director's previous film. Similarly, I think, it's got that high octane. And to say it's 12 long shots and it keeps up that pace, it's an incredible film. Best actor, no Ray Liotta. This for me is our travesty. I'm going to blow my load now. Well, whatever. I think Ray Liotta in this is the best performance. I think it's one of the most underrated performances of all time by a leading man.
I think it's very underrated.
What did he do afterwards, though?
Hannibal.
Yeah.
Did you watch Marriage Story?
No.
He's great in Marriage Story. He plays one of the divorce lawyers. He's
great in Muppets Most Wanted.
Most Wanted.
That's what I mean, though. Like, you see a man do a performance like that, where he's just... Yeah. I'd say he is the best. He's one of the best in the film. And he holds up one of my favourite cinema performances. You would think, watching that, he would go on to become one of the greats.
Is Field of Dreams before or after?
I thought that was
late 80s. No. Yeah, no, you're right. Because that's
he's not part of that. He's not part of that group, is he? I don't think he hasn't.
No.
Like, you see all of these memes. I mean, I don't know if you're in them, Garth, but Tom and I are in these Facebook
Martin
groups.
Scorsese chats.
Yeah, and
they're
also
all,
like
they're all
Pacino,
memes.
De Niro. But there are all these memes about how, Marty's never going to cast Ray again and, like, he has no career and they, like, leave him out. And it's like, it's sad. Like, he hasn't done nothing. Like, he's done well for himself. He's still a working actor.
Yeah. He's not poor. But
also, it's not the case of, with films I love, I go deep on all these, the commentary tracks and all the behind the scenes stuff. There is no, because my thought was always maybe he was a dick, maybe he was like a real pain.
Yeah,
and that's why. But that's not. Just not the case.
Like, you've got stories about like Robert De Niro being hard work and Jack. No,
yeah,
actors are hard work, like especially
I mean,
their
like,
job and the ego they get. I think that.
No, I don't mean like hard work method wise. I mean like hard work, like he was just an arsehole.
Yeah, but as in a lot of top actors probably are arseholes. When you get to that level.
But then does that, like, and this is really kind of the first time that I've had this thought, but then in a way that kind of makes Goodfellas that much more special because he is the lead, because then if he had gone on, either if he had the career beforehand or if he had gone on to become, like a even more like household name and had more and more like roles like this, a la like Pacino, De Niro, then would that have detracted from this being like his crowning glory?
No, because it doesn't detract from Taxi Driver, does it? That De Niro's done 10 more.
But I think De Niro's like legacy. There is a way De Niro acts. There is a style to his acting. I think,
and I love him. Like, he's one of my favorite actors of all time.
Tom, do an impression of De Niro. You do an impression of him doing the acting, and I think the point Ava just made, there isn't like that his performance becomes probably more truer because we never see him redo it. It doesn't get stereotyped. Not stereotyped, but typecast.
But yeah. I think
Maybe you're right
special.
there.
But I don't have that experience because I have seen Field of Dreams and I have seen Something Wild. I'm a big fan of Something Wild, where he is a bit crazy again. And what's it called? Unlawful Entry. Just not the best film ever, but just a deep and dirty 90s thriller where it's Kurt Russell and Madeleine Stowe, and Ray Liotta's a cop who is like helping them.
But you've got to admit, Tom, you're a fanatic film fan.
Oh
right?
no, yeah.
So in popular culture or general film fans, which I put myself under, I don't think he's that. It's almost like like Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people didn't know who he was till the Joker, and that Joker is blowing him up. Like I would definitely say that. Where I think we're into popular culture is what I'm saying.
No, I think a lot of people know
Fern
him
did
from
not
Gladiator.
know who Joaquin Phoenix was prior.
No, but
a lot of my friends didn't. I think it's just because.
I know you're making the argument of like people haven't seen Her and The Master and stuff like that. But I think you cannot underestimate that Gladiator won Best Picture. Gladiator was one of the biggest selling movies of all time. And
I don't think he wasn't a household name before the Joker, though. I don't think. And what I'm saying is, I think in Goodfellas, it's almost like that film should have been his. That shot him to fame, but it didn't, and I'm not sure
because we'll get to this now. Because of Best Supporting Actor, Joe Pesci overshadowed him rather. Joe Pesci won Best Supporting Actor. No, nobody is taking that away from him. It's an incredible
for sure
performance. But I think Liotta is better. Best Actress, I don't think we'd put anybody in for Best Actress. Kathy Bates, I don't think you could put many against her to beat her in that year.
I've seen it.
Misery. You've not seen Misery?
No.
Good movie. Really good movie. Yeah. Misery's great. Have you seen Misery, Ava?
No.
Misery's really, really, really
sorry.
Good. Did you say sorry?
No, yeah, because I was reading. I just like this is the first time that I'm getting like actually outraged how he wasn't even nominated.
Yeah.
Like
especially against Gepard Depardieu in Cyrano de Bergerac, one of the worst films.
Like Goodfellas should have been his. It should have been his like trampoline to shoot him to the next level, like to level up. And you are right, Tom. It's because he didn't.
Yeah. Also, in what world does Lorraine Bracco lose against Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost? I think Lorraine Bracco is also the unsung hero of this film. I think she's
fabulous.
Exceptional.
She is fantastic. She is.
Yeah.
Karen.
Okay, would Ray, if he had been nominated for Best Actor, would he have beaten Jeremy Irons? I mean, he would have deserved to, I think.
There's so much politics with the Oscars, though, isn't there? Like, so much.
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons is pretty excellent in
win the awards and shit.
He is pretty good at Reversal of Fortune. But no, I do think he's better. And also, he would have been up against De Niro for Awakens, which is another great performance. Best Screenplay, definitely deserves to win. Dancing with Wolves, they don't even speak for most of it. Christ. Are we missing anything? Again, it's a very, people get into the same sort of thing with sound effects of like, unless it's Total Recall, unless it's Hunt for Red October, unless it's your Dunkirks, your Mad Maxes, people just don't nominate it. And I think this has some exceptional sound editing. But alas, best film editing, again, how?
Oh, it's spectacular.
How does
I would argue it deserved a cinematography as well.
Yes, I just went straight.
It wasn't like massive expense of the mountains or anything, but just the actual technique and skill in getting those long shots.
Yeah. I think the editing, like how it's so seamless and intertwined, and it's just, but then incredibly structured.
How it flies by at 2.5 hours. It is the rare thing. That's when Wolf of Wall Street came out, and people were like, "It's so long." And I'm like, the best thing I can say about that film is that it's 3 hours long. It feels like an hour and a half, and I wished there was another hour. You know,
I think what I like about Wolf of Wall Street and longer films is I watch a lot of series now. I watch more series than I do films. And why I love series so much is you get 10 episodes of a character development, 10 hours of character. So now when I watch films, I feel like they're rushed. So what's good about a lot of film is I'm like, oh, okay, I get you've taken the time. But if a film's only an hour and a half or 2 hours now, I always feel like, because I'm used to the format of 10 seasons.
Because that's something that I remember like really thinking about and talking to people about, because I have never really been a fan of series and, you know, box sets, and especially like with new shows, because I always feel like it was such a novelty. Like everyone would be on a bandwagon, like whether it's Netflix or like Amazon or even like BBC, like, oh my God, have you seen this? Have you seen this? You have to see this. And it was just like this never ending thing. And it was just the novelty of it. And also because I'm like, well, it's kind of unfair because, you know, I'm loyal to films and how, I mean, I've seen, God knows how many times I've watched like Breaking Bad and, you know, Modern Family, even, like it's a very wide thing. And now Stranger Things, I got on that, love it. But it's like, I always would feel it's unfair because some episodes, you know, 45, 50 minutes, you have like 10 episodes for like 6 seasons. So it's like you're making like 30 mini movies or like 30 movies, and it's like I just feel like it was unfair to movie characters, but like it's just a different medium.
I think I've almost ruined my ability to watch films by how many series I watch. So it's my favorite form of TV and television, just because, I mean, like, have you ever watched True Detectives?
Oh yeah.
No.
Like, maybe you need to watch it. It's like one of my favorite TV series of all time. You couldn't do it in a film. You know, each episode's so intellect and so wind.
I've actually got almost the exact opposite thing. The amount of series I watch now, where I get The Sinner especially, both of those seasons of the cinema. But the amount of shows that I watch where I go, that was so stretched out. And you talk about 5 minutes of wanting to turn it, well, not wanting to turn it off, but 5 minutes, you know, like, oh, come on, speed up in here. I get that with these 10 episode shows. It's the rarity that a show.
Have you ever watched Game of Thrones? Did you ever get on that?
No. We can list. Obviously, there is an abundance of examples where.
But I think what television's done with series now is almost like how films were maybe in the 90s, because I think the reason why I love series so much is because you can talk about it with a lot of people. Where now if I go, did you see that? What did you see at the cinema? Or what's new? I seem to be always talking about films, older films, rather than unless I ring Tom. And what I like about series, I'm currently watching Vikings. I've just started that and I'm enjoying it. I know I can ring people and be like, what do you think of Vikings?
Watch Mad Men and then ring me. Why people don't watch Mad Men? But it's the
greatest. Something about you telling me to watch it so much. I just don't.
I know. That's also I will never watch. That's my other thing with TV shows. I like to wait until they're over. Main example: Game of Thrones. Why would I sit through 6 seasons when this 7th season is such a tremendous shit fire, as people have been saying?
Well, because you've missed out on 5, like some of the best episodes in television and some of the best storytelling you're ever going to watch.
What's the point in the plane journey if you end up dying at the end with a crash? Bad example.
Watching the end of a thing isn't like a plane, because it's not. The last episode is awful. Okay, it's really, really bad. It is terrible. But what Game of Thrones gives and what TV series is, you end up really caring about characters. And there are films I care about, but I think it's a lot harder to do.
Yeah, no.
Because of time, and films and everything you watch always has to have something to do with popular culture. Like when Goodfellas came out, I'm sure everyone spoke about it. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. People don't make unless it's for a. You know, we've just had Martin Scorsese. This film, Killers of the Flower Moon. It's going to have DiCaprio. It's going to have De Niro. Apparently, it's another Irishman length job, budget job. Decade-spanning job. 1990, he says, I'm going to make. Well, no, actually, let's do Casino. 3 hours long, same sort of technical challenges. Nobody bats an eye. They put up the money. It's released theatrically. It's an R-rated film. It's released theatrically. And even going back, what was it, 7 years? What was Wall Street 13?
2013.
You don't get these big, middle budget movies where you throw like 20 million or 25 million, 50 million at an R-rated drama. I was rewatching Broadcast News, and that was like the biggest film of the year, and that is a love triangle in a news station, and they threw like 20 million at it, and you've got these big stars. You just don't get that anymore. And I know it's very easy to turn, superheroes as shit and all that, and in a way I am on that bandwagon. It's funny to talk about Scorsese actually when this topic comes up, because obviously such a big controversy with Marvel isn't cinema, and and you just don't get that anymore. The big films that people are talking about, like we look at the Oscars this year: Marriage Story, Two Popes, and Irishman, of course, Irishman.
Netflix.
And I
think Scorsese has probably jumped on and realized I can't remember if it's him. One of the big directors came on and said that cinema has changed and we have to change with it, and it is going into streaming. And I think that's probably why Irishman was on Netflix and why it was so long.
My sister just decided to use the ice machine. Jesus Christ. Well, you can pour me a lemonade, please, now as well. Thank you.
I'll have one too. Thank you.
Well,
I'd actually really like one.
I live in Yorkshire. I'm around
the
corner.
Yes, we'll drive. I'll drive
How far
over.
away are you from each other?
Well, Yorkshire's about this big, so I guess I can.
Oh yeah, I assume it's all just like one big field or something.
It's one big field connected by a line of trees.
Our sheds are close.
Connected by mines, Garth. Mines. They have mines.
We all mine. Yeah, we all used to dig. I mean, we did. We're proud of it.
Yeah, they are. They talk about
Osset's a mining town. I mean, has that come up yet, Garth? I should explain that Garth is a Londoner who is currently dating a wonderful Yorkshire girl, and so for the lockdown, I don't know why I'm explaining this.
Also, Tom, I live with her. We're not dating. We share rent. I didn't just go. Oh, I live in your house.
You do look like you're in the attic, though, locked away.
We are in the attic. I'm not allowed out. The strangest thing about Yorkshire is you go for a walk or you go for a jog, and you actually avoid people because they'll talk to you. It doesn't matter what you're doing. They go hello and you nod, and you got to perfect this nod, because if you nod too much, they ask how you are.
They'll do.
But I made Tommy take me looking for him.
You got some nerve standing me up. Nobody does that to me. Who the hell do you think you are? Frankie Valli or some kind of big shot?
Take it easy. Slow down, all right? I forgot. I thought it was next week.
It was Friday. It was this Friday, and you agreed, so you're a liar.
Come on, we can talk about this, all right? Take it easy.
Talk about it? Talk to you after what you just did to me? Forget it. I'm not talking to you about
Wait a second. I thought you were going to stand me up. You look bored. You didn't say anything. What do you expect? Let me make it up to you. Karen.
I'll think about it.
I remember, she's screaming on the street, and I mean loud, but she looked good.
I'll think about it. It's going to cost you, Hill.
I'm going to make it up.
It's going to cost you a lot.
She had these great eyes, just like Liz Taylor's.
He was an exciting guy. It was real.
Well, it was when I went down south.
Me when I'm running. Huh?
It was when I went down south and I let that woman off. We were on the tube and I let that woman off before I walked off. And you went, "What are you doing?" Well, it was like you were baffled.
Like, that's London rules. It's not like in Kent. I let old ladies on first. I promise. But like in London, if you're coming,
if I'm in,
I'm part of it.
I am running ahead. I'm like pushing people over. I'm like walking up ahead. Like I'm getting on that too.
I'm a pretty fast person anyway. Like whenever it's like a group and we have to get on a train,
you're a fast person. You're gonna defend school shooters. You know what I mean? Like you're basically.
I'm not defending school. It's like you're greatly disparate. Will's favourite building or set? Will's not here, but do we have a favourite building or set? It's the Copa. It's the
Copa.
What did you say? I didn't listen. I'm sorry.
The Copacabana Club.
Ah.
Do we like that more than the Bamboo Lounge?
I like where they play where they play poker, wherever that scene is. And then they shoot Spider.
Oh yeah, dingy.
That's my favorite set because I don't know. I think it's because I love that scene where he's like, "Fucking hell."
It's a good scene.
I think when I was a kid, I wanted to be him. When I watched the film, that's
Spider.
A spider.
No, I want to be Spider. I want to be Joe Pesci.
I want to be shot in the foot and shot to death.
Best single minute. Here are my nominations: The Fourth Wall Break at the Court.
Pretty good.
Spider Volume 1. Spider Volume 2. The Copa Shot.
Yep.
The bamboo intros. And the preparation for the meal in jail. They're my nominations for Best Single Minute. Do we have any other nominations?
No.
What's so good about this film? You could probably take a minute from every scene.
Oh, yeah.
By quite a lot.
I was very strict with myself.
The scene where Joe Pesci gets shot is fucking horrible, isn't it? Walks in and goes, "How long has it been since you got made?" They walked in, he goes, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah.
The music cuts.
Yeah.
He knows.
It's just that flat shot of that poker table and that hung fish on the wall, and then.
You know what? It's actually, when you first watch it, it's shocking. But when you watch it again, and he's talking to his mum before, and he's wearing one nice suit, it actually makes it sadder, doesn't it? Because you know that he's fucked. And
how she can't give him an open casket because he was shot in the head.
Oh, yeah, they shoot him in the face.
That's like, it's good. It's not as good as Sonny when Don Corleone goes to the morgue attendant and he's like, "Look what they did to my son." And he's crying.
Tony, have you done a good, what is it called?
Godfather.
No, but it is next. I believe it's in Block 5.
If you want an argument, I'll come on that one as well.
What's your No, I want it to be celebratory. But what's your argument? Actually, we'll get to that. I do have this in best question. Best question. Tom's big question. We'll get to it. Best line. Have you got any to throw out, each of you?
I already said mine. How do you like your steak? Medium rare. Medium rare, an aristocrat.
That's Taylor's Vin Damon. Here we are. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. Astoundingly good. We were always called each other Goodfellas. Like you said to somebody, "You're gonna like this guy. He's all right. He's a good fella. He's one of us." It's very nice. It's one of the better name drops in a film because it's not obnoxious. It's
not like right at the beginning or right at the end. It's just
I also feel like when you first watch Goodfellas, you're like, why is it called Goodfellas? I feel like I was actually happy for the explanation.
It's not like I want to take his face
in a casino.
off.
Yeah, face off.
Next Saturday, we're taking you back to the future.
Tom, I do feel like you need to do a podcast about a film that you're not just gonna do a happy birthday for. You know what I mean?
No, I know. We did Indecent Proposal on Will's odds. On Will, for some reason, wanted to do Indecent Proposal.
I've never heard of that film.
It's basically, all right, 10 seconds on Indecent Proposal. You're in Vegas with Fern. This is the plot of the movie. It's not. But anyway, you're in Vegas with. No, you lose everything.
Oh.
You have no money. You have 5,000 left. You go to Las Vegas. You lose it all. You're an architect. You've scrapped off this playwright business. You're an architect. All of your projects are shithouse. And she can't get a job. Suddenly, Robert Redford, a entrepreneurial millionaire, walks up to you and says, can I have a night with your wife for $1 million? Do you go?
What do you do?
I don't know.
They have sex.
I don't think I could do it.
Yeah. Will and Becky were very quick to be like, yeah, no, you just forget about it. No, I think me and you have far less, security in our masculinity. I don't think we'd be able to take it.
Actually, I think if I did it, then I'd just dump her afterwards and then just be a millionaire. I think that's.
Well, no. It's money for you both.
I'll just split it then. You know, how much do I like her in the film?
You're madly in love. You're married. You're married.
Do I have to watch?
No, he flies her away.
Can I watch?
he takes her to a yacht, and also it's Robert Redford, so it's not like some fat schlubby
Yeah,
guy.
but you don't know what he's gonna do with her, and you have to live with yourself.
Also, Tom, the real question is, why haven't you done a podcast about John Wick? Because I just watched that. Well, good.
They are great. They are great films.
No, I just feel like you need one where like you don't like the film and everyone else does. Because I like watching you. I like watching you get defensive.
Argue. That has happened before. I can't remember.
No, I was gonna say we could do Casino, but it's me and you who can't stand it, Garth, and Tom's the one. But then we could do this, and we could just be hounding him for the whole call.
I feel like we've done that here, though.
I know.
I'm so glad.
We're back to best line. Stop bullying me.
Get the papers.
I'll dig the fucking hole. I don't give a fuck. What is it? The first hole I ever dug.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
If you touch her again, you're dead. Great stuff. Anything I wanted was a phone call away, free cars, the keys to a dozen hideout flats all over the city. I bet 20, 30 grand over a weekend that I'd either blow the winnings in a week or go to the Sharks to play the bookies. Didn't matter. It didn't mean anything. When I was broke, I'd go out and rob some more. We ran everything. We paid off cops. We paid off lawyers. We paid off judges. Everybody had their hands out. Everybody was for the taking.
One of them, mate, isn't it?
Now it's all over.
Yeah.
Or when he says, I ordered spaghetti with marinara sauce and I got egg noodles and ketchup. Ugh.
And then there was Jimmy Two Times, who got his nickname before because he said it twice.
That is the best line, probably.
I'm going to get the papers.
I love Jimmy Two Times.
He's probably the best.
Yeah. For us to live any other way was nuts. It's great. It's true.
I love, have you ever been to Miami? It's nice, but it's like you died and woke up in Jew heaven.
So now she's got a dead son and her mother's dead too. They wore too much makeup.
I am going to have to bounce
anyway.
for about 15 minutes, okay? I will openly say that to you now. I'm sorry.
Right, global speed.
Mate. I'm going to Asda with the mask and the cane.
With the mask and the cane?
I'm going to rob it. That's what.
Right. This is what you were alluding to. What's the change? My change is, maybe this is just me. Would anybody cheat on Karen with that Janice woman?
Yeah, I think so. I think it makes total sense because I feel like I love that so much because it makes you go, the protagonist is not a good guy. He is a gangster.
Oh, no. I think, no, it's a true story. He's got to cheat on somebody. But
Tom, just because you fancy her so much, I feel like this guy also loves money but always wants more money. You know, that's the point.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
And she becomes well whiny as well. You know, you can see how he would.
I'm
not condoning, but I'm just saying. I think you can. I think he plays it in a really good way.
Yeah, like he loves her, and you could say, you know, oh, how could you love someone if you cheat on? And you can see from their relationship, from the first time you see them together and the last time you see them together, it is that relationship, and that's the only way I can describe it. But he's married to the life. That's what he loves. Like that's what he's dedicated to.
And it's like
I think the other one makes more sense. The Coke girl. I think she's pretty
she pisses me off, Sandy.
Oh, I'm the other way around.
She irks me more than Janice. Probably.
I think they're both perfect casting because I feel like he's got like the cokey one, the girlfriend who would never be his wife but is like his girlfriend, and she would be the one that has his kids.
That's what I mean. Like
anybody who's married to a Jackie wants a Marilyn. Anybody who's married to a Marilyn wants a Jackie. It's a tale as old as time. What's left from Tom's notes? Real good kid matches. I think the kids
perfect.
Yes.
Not terrible. They're quite good at acting.
Yeah, they're great. Even if Ava didn't realise that little Tommy was doing Joe Pesci. Garth, Ava, do you have anything left from your notes?
No.
I didn't take any notes. Didn't know that was a thing I had to do.
Oh, it's all right. You don't need to. Right, I'll do a few fun facts with Ava after you've gone. I want to get a few of these big questions out.
It was easy for all of us to disappear. My house was in my mother-in-law's name. My cars were registered to my wife. My social security cards and driver's licenses were phonies. I never voted. I never paid taxes. My birth certificate and my arrest sheet. That's all you'd ever have to know I was alive.
See him here in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you please point him out for the members of the jury? Your Honor, please let the record reflect that Mr. Hill has identified the defendant, James Conway. Mr. Hill, do you also know a man by the name of Paul Cicero?
Yes.
Do you see him here in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you point him out for the members of the jury? Your Honor, let the record reflect that Mr. Hill has identified the defendant, Paul Cicero. Your Honor, I have a document that I'd like to have marked.
See, the hardest thing for me was leaving the life. I still love the life. And we were treated like movie stars with muscle. We had it all just for the asking. Our wives, mothers, kids, everybody rode along. I had paper bags filled with jewelry stashed in the kitchen. I had a sugar bowl full of Coke next to the bed.
People call them rats because a rat will do anything to survive. Isn't that right, Mr. Hill?
Objection.
Objection sustained.
Look, I don't know nothing about being a rat.
Mr. Hill, you know everything about being a rat.
Objection, Your Honor. In view of the violence...
Anything I wanted was a phone call away. Free cars, the keys to a dozen hideout flats all over the city. I'd bet 20, 30 grand over a weekend, and then I'd either blow the winnings in a week or go to the Sharks to pay back the bookies.
Is this the best mob film?
Yes.
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 Over The Godfather.
Yeah, for me, yes. But I really does The Departed count as a mob film? Kind of, it's gangster.
Yeah, Irish mob.
Yeah. For me, that's the one that comes damn close to Goodfellas for me personally watching.
Oh, I love The Departed. Yeah.
Like Departed is something that I feel like I'm very loyal to Goodfellas, so I'll never say it.
Yeah. Don't rat on your friends and keep your mouth shut.
For me,
yeah, that's right.
I think for me the ranking is Godfather.
Yeah, but what about part 2, Tom?
I'm saying this, yeah, Godfather, Goodfellas Part 2. And then Personal, Casino, then Departed. I really like Carlitos. I don't like Carlitos. I do like Carlitos' Way. I meant to say I really like Donnie Brasco. I think that's a great Pacino. Oh no, Irishman. Irishman is number 4. You need to get on. You need to watch Irishman, Gav. You need to get over.
Have you not seen it? Oh.
I got halfway through and I was so bored I gave up. I can't stand how De Niro walks as a young man, but he's an old man. When I watched him kick someone throwing out the shop, I was like, "This is a fast. Can't do it." I don't know why I couldn't be a younger actor. But I'll try again.
You do need to try again.
Oh, it's the face. It's the face thingy.
I need a face.
It was a lot better on a cinema screen, I have to say.
I imagine. Also, I watched it on a laptop, and then I was watching something else, and I went, "Wait, are they using facial stuff?" And then it turns out my laptop wasn't too good. So I'm going to try again on this screen over here.
Naturally, then I watched it on my HD big TV, and I was like, "Yeah, no, actually, the faces do look good." There is only a few, and no, you can't get around the physicality thing. Yeah, the physicality when Al Pacino gets up when he's 13, he's like, that gets me.
He's up and he's kicking him, but he's like an old man kick. You don't want to fall over. Yeah.
And also, I think Joe Pesci is by far the best performance in that film.
I'm going to read it.
Yeah. I think he is, yeah.
It is excellent. You're going to get no arguments from me. I think in 20 years or whatever, we're going to be
like, for me, I rate so much more Pesci in Goodfellas. No, Pesci in Irishman.
Irishman over Goodfellas, yeah.
No, Irishman over Casino, no questions asked.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I feel like, in my opinion, I love Pesci, but I don't think he's the biggest range of acting. Like, I don't think he's got this.
I think Irishman has the range, honestly.
Watch Irishman.
And then watch Home Alone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
And My Cousin Vinny. He's really nice in My Cousin Vinny, but he's also got that grit.
Number 1 would be Goodfellas, and then I don't know. I don't like The Godfather, so I can't really. It's him.
What don't you like about it?
I don't think he's very good at the main dude. Like the fucking.
You don't think that Marlon Brando?
Yeah, don't think he's very good in it. Also, he dies real quick. He's like not in it.
No, he gets shot. He gets shot, and then he's in a coma for. No, because then you're with Michael because when he goes to Sicily, and you're there for half an hour, and he meets Apollonia. Oh.
Monday, Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I feel like it's just, I don't know what it is. I mean, I assume I can appreciate it because everyone else says it's good, but for me, I don't get the hype.
No, you can never change that. You can. I completely.
It's very annoying because I want to argue it, but I don't think it's not worth arguing because it's like when I watched it, I wasn't entertained. And then I think I tried to watch number 2, and the opening was so damn long, I gave up. Is that the one where they're at a wedding in the beginning?
Godfather's at a wedding. Godfather Part 2's, the opening of that is the christening of, not the christening. Bloody, what's the celebration at the start of Godfather Part 2, Ava?
Also, I think, to be fair, because I didn't watch Godfather till very late. I think I watched it when I was about 18, maybe later, 20, something like that. So when I watched it, I already kind of knew what it was from like Simpsons, South Park, Family Guy. Everyone's commented on it. I had quoted it before I had seen the film. So I think my expectation was like, everyone saying it's the best film ever made.
That's always hard to, yeah.
It was probably, and I sat down and then I was like, oh, okay, it's actually quite low budget. It's actually quite, I don't know, maybe I'd appreciate it more now.
And also, just on, if you want to talk pace, once you've watched Goodfellas, they're two very, very different. I don't think Goodfellas boring in the slightest, but people have said to me it's boring. And their argument is always, well, I just prefer Goodfellas. And I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
And I think Goodfellas is more me for what I like. I like really fast moving, really funny dialogue, and that's kind of, I'll rewatch it, I'll try again, but maybe turn it into a Netflix series.
That's why I think you didn't enjoy Irishman as well, because besides the CGI, that is paced more like The Godfather, especially the last hour and a half. Brutal, astounding cinema.
What do you reckon Goodfellas would be like if Tarantino had directed it?
That's the first thing I thought of when you asked that question of if it was a different director.
You always compare those two, don't you? It's like, which one's better? Which one has done more for cinema?
Which era? Because I think if you remade Pulp Fiction now, or remade, some of those earlier films now with the cleft that he had, would, Reservoir Dogs still be an hour and a half? Or would it be... I mean, I'm saying this, but Pulp Fiction's 2.5 hours anyway. But would these films be so, jumped up?
Does Reservoir Dogs count? It's not a mob movie, is it? That's a gangster movie.
That's a bank, yeah. That's a heist movie. I don't.
Yeah.
You know what? One of my favorite film theories is that there's no police in Pulp Fiction because it's the day of the robbery. And they're all busy with that. That just makes perfect sense to me, and I very much like it. Well, so that we don't rush you off and you have a nice goodbye, Garth, pleasure to have you on the show. We'll have you back soon.
What's the show called again?
Carruthers, Leggetter, and Whoever. You've been
We're the Whoever.
I like it. I like how you put your name first, you narcissist.
No, it's alphabetical.
Oh, yeah, sure.
T is before W, C is before L.
I would have liked to have met Will. I would have liked to have seen him. Because is it like, does Will say his point? Does it go like, and Tom's favourite lines? And it go Will's favourite lines? And then it's like, or does it always, or are you the matriarch in this society?
The matriarch? I'm the mother.
Yes.
No, it's obviously pretty equal. It'd be pretty rough on some of those episodes where it's just me and him if it was just me talking to him.
What films are you planning on doing after this?
After this, we've got the next, spoilers for everybody watching, we've got the next up to 100 episodes planned, so I'll send you the link. One of them's The Departed.
Okay, cool. Right.
Yeah, get on episodes, Garth.
Pardon?
I said get on episodes.
Yeah, I will do. It's just that I want to come on to one where a film I just don't like.
Yeah, that's true.
But when I remember I looked at the list you said before, I just didn't have any. It's like Shawshank. There's only like one bit I don't like in that film.
Yeah, pretty good. Yes, this is most certainly not our last Scorsese film.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for having me. Have a good time.
It's been a pleasure. We will finish off the episode without you. See you later, Garth. Pleasure.
Bye, Garth.
Bye.
Didn't matter. Didn't mean anything. When I was broke, I would go out and rob some more. We ran everything. We paid off cops, we paid off lawyers, we paid off judges. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. And now it's all over. And that's the hardest part. And today everything is different. There's no action. I have to wait around like everyone else. Can't even get decent food. Right after I got here, I ordered some spaghetti with marinara sauce, and I got egg noodles and ketchup. I'm an average nobody. Get to live the rest of my life like a schnook.
So, it's time for now a few fun facts. So,
When I watched Mall Cop last night and how he's like, fun fact for you. Oh, that's a great movie.
oh yeah.
Have you ever actually seen it?
Yes, I saw it in the cinema, Ava. I saw both of them
That
in the
came
cinema.
out, okay, the first one came out in 2009. That was 11 years ago, Tom. You need to rewatch it. It's just iconic and
According to Henry Hill, whose life was the basis for the fucking film, Joe Pesci's portrayal of Tommy DeSimone was 90 to 90% accurate, with one notable exception. The real Tommy DeSimone was massively built.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. Martin Scorsese first got wind of Nicholas Pileggi's book, The Wise Guy, when he was handed the gallery proofs of it. Although Scorsese had sworn off making another gangster movie, he immediately cold called the writer and told him, "I've been waiting for this book my entire life." Pileggi replied, "I've been waiting for this phone call my entire life." Wow.
It's meant to be.
Romantic. In The Real Goodfella, which aired in the UK in 2006, Henry Hill claimed that De Niro would phone him 7 to 8 times a day to discuss certain things about Jimmy. For instance, how he would hold his cigarette. Ray Liotta's mother died of cancer during filming. Liotta says that he used his anger over losing his mother for certain scenes, the pistol whipping scene in particular. That's very evident. Scorsese and
Oh my
Pileggi-
god! And he says, I swear on my mother if you touch her again.
Oh. Ray Liotta turned down the part
Ray.
of Harvey Dent in Batman 1989 to make this movie. Did he make the right choice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you were going to say Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight, even though that was
20 years later.
28 years later.
18.
No, 18.
After Joe Pesci's mother saw the film, she told him the movie was good, then asked if he had to curse so much.
Oh, we should have said when Garth was on, underrated performance in this film.
Scorsese's mother.
Yes.
What a woman. What an
Steals the scene. Every scene she's in.
I'll make some. Why don't you settle down?
You're going Christopher Walken.
It's the bit where she tells the joke and it's not actually that good a joke, and it's like, but in Italian it sounds much nicer.
Yeah.
Jimmy Burke, on whom Jimmy Conway was based, would have been eligible for parole in 2004, but he died of lung cancer in '96 while still in prison. Apparently, he very much liked the film and De Niro's performance of him. The film, told from Henry Hill's perspective, portrays him as a major player in the world of organised crime. I don't think it does, actually. But real-life gangsters of that era have said that Hill was a minor figure and more of a hanger-on. Most of the guys who took part in the Lufthansa heist was agree. But I don't think that is true. I do think he is represented as a hanger-on. He doesn't do the Lufthansa heist. We're just seeing it through his eyes.
Because you get like when it first changes to, Ray Liotta from The Kid, and he's kind of in Paulie's shadow. But then the first time that I ever felt that how does he know him is when it's Billy Bats, and when Tommy leaves and he's like, Henry, you need to understand this, and it's like, since when did Henry, since when would you give Henry an explanation for your own business?
Yeah. And then, when Henry, you know, locks the door, and you see it in his eyes when he's looking at Tommy and Jimmy going to town on Billy Bats, and he's like, "Oh shit, this is, you know, I'm not involved here." Did you know that Martin Scorsese's father is also in the film?
No.
He is one of the 2 men to take Tommy DeVito to be killed. He is the other one. He's not the one who killed the.
Interessant.
He does appear in an earlier scene where he makes the prison sauce. See, this is why I like The Irishman so much, because these are the sort of miserable details that I find very interesting. Late in his life, Henry Hill launched GoodfellaHenry.com, a website devoted to the film and life in the mob. Many of the people visiting the site derided Hill as a snitch. Hill died in 2012. As of fall 2016, the site is still selling memorabilia from the film. I mean, I'm not actually saying that I want another hour of Goodfellas. I think this is a perfect end for this film. However, The Irishman, bad take from Garth. Joe Pesci didn't judge his character, but found the scene in which he kills Spider for talking back hard to do, because there was literally no justification that he could find.
That's true.
After the premiere, Henry Hill went around and revealed his true identity. In response, the government kicked him out of the witness protection program, which naturally makes sense. Sean Penn was considered for the role of Henry Hill. Can you see that?
No.
No, neither can I. It is based on a book. I didn't read it, but by all accounts, Wise Guy by Nicholas Pileggi. Again, synopsis of a sequel. Well, we know what happens. You know, very miserable end. Closing line, Hall of Fame. Just that incredible final monologue that we touched on earlier. Brilliant stuff. Ava, do you have any final thoughts on Goodfellas?
I don't. It's probably the longest film on my, you know, certainly top 10, probably top 5 now. But as we said many times throughout this call, flies by. Every single moment is stunning.
Sure is. I couldn't agree more. But Casino.
Don't watch Casino.
Go watch Casino?
No, don't watch Casino. If you learn one thing from this call, it's that.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba.